11 minutes before the hour, 33 degrees in downtown Sylacauga. We welcome this morning the head basketball coach of the Sylacauga Aggies, Coach Joel Jones. And Coach, good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is said that patience is a virtue. Well, you've been very patient about getting the call as far as the head basketball coach is concerned. Really, you weren't even expecting it, were you?
No, I wasn't. I'm a man of faith, and I mean, when it's your time, if you're a believer in God, He will put you in position to be blessed. And I consider this a blessing. I know that it was something that I never thought would have came about. I've never applied for the job, so let me set the record straight there. But at the end of last season, those kids needed some continuity. They had this senior group with myself. I am the third head coach that they've had. So any guy that has played sports or been a part of athletics, continuity is very important. So when you have a coaching change every other year or at least once a year, that's not good for the kids. So I just hope that I can bring some continuity and some balance to the basketball program.
You've been around basketball forever, though.
I have. It dates back, and people are going to find out a little bit about my age here. It dates back to 1978. I was a graduate assistant for Justin Martin.
He was a great one, too.
He was one of the best high school coaches I've ever been around. Mm-hmm. And his sidekick was Gerald Douglas, who was also top-notch high school basketball coach. And I had the pleasure of hanging out with those guys from 1978 to 1982. I never missed a practice, nor did I ever miss a basketball game. And those guys, year in and year out, they played at the top. Playoffs was never. We were never just satisfied with making the tournament. We were always competing for state championship. Mm-hmm. So when you're around that kind of environment, when you're in that kind of environment, when you're around those kind of coaches, and if you're watching, if you're paying any attention, you're going to pick up some great tendencies from those guys.
I've heard many people say and talk about when Gerald was here and Justin was here, and they would talk about this Jones kid.
Yeah.
This Jones kid. Who is this? Who is this guy? and it just developed, and now you're living the dream of something you've always wanted to do.
I am. I just love the game of basketball. You know, that's my passion, and I hope that it's one of the things, the gifts that God has given me. The thing about it, I left Gerald Douglas in 1981, 82 maybe. He competed for the state championship. Yeah. His first year, he was runner-up, and really, to be honest, we were the better basketball team. But you know how the game goes. The best team don't always win. So, 84, I started to officiate high school basketball, and I stayed with that for 19 years. And I would consider myself having a very successful officiating career. I was to the brink of being a Final Four official. And a young man named Bobby Hall got the job at Sylacauga basketball head coach. And I was doing some park and rec coaching at that time. And I'll call some names. Kids like Kyle Pope, who's the one of the coaches at Georgia Tech. His brother Kelsey Pope, who's a twin, he's coaching at the University of Tennessee. And those were the kind of kids that I had experience in coaching those caliber athletes, along with my son Isaiah, who was one of the best shooters that I have seen. And I'll say that because if I had a penny for all the passes that I've thrown him, I would be a millionaire right now. So he put in time to become that shooter. And that was a great group of athletes that I was coaching park and rec. And they made me look like I knew what I was doing. So Bobby Hall came and he said, "Coach, I need an assistant. Would you consider?" and I was like torn between officiating and going back to officiating and taking the offer that he proposed to me. So from that point, I talked to my wife about it, Miss Valencia Jones, give a shout out to her. And she said, Joel, hey, go for it. Try the coaching right now. Take the offer. And I went back to Coach Hall, and he, you know, everything took place, took shape. And we stayed together for about 7 years.
And what year was this?
2003.
Okay.
And we stayed together for about 7 years. And Coach Hall moved on, and David Ball came in. And Coach Hall did a great job. David Ball, he went into administration. David Ball came along, and he was another great high school basketball coach. So I'm picking up things from Coach Hall now. I've picked up things from him. I'm picking up things from David Ball.
And they were two different coaches?
They were.
Yeah.
And from David Ball, Josh Golden comes in for 2 or 3 years. I think Ball was here for 2 or 3 years. Then here comes Josh Golden. And Josh Golden was a offensive guru. So I picked up things in terms of offensive, in terms of basketball on the offensive end of the court. I picked up a lot of things from Josh Golden. Then after Josh comes Will Copeland. And Will Copeland was one of the best guys that I have ever met in my life. He was a very humble guy. He didn't care who got the credit for what. He was all about the kids, and he was all about the program. He was all about winning. So we were a great combo as well. So in fact, we were able to bring the blue map back to Sylacauga. So that worked out. That was a great tandem working with Will Copeland. And from that point, Will moved on to North Alabama. He went back home so he could spend time with his
he went into girls basketball, didn't he?
He did, and I hate to say it, but I think he regrets that he went to the other side. Sometimes you just got to make a decision, and sometimes it works to the betterment, for the betterment. Sometimes it doesn't.
So when you got the call about the possibility of becoming the head coach at Sylacauga, did you believe it?
Well, like I said, I never applied for the job, so I didn't believe it. I didn't think it would happen. And, when the word got out in the community, people just started supporting.
It was a groundswell,
Yes, it was. So that just tells you, if you do right, if you do good, if you live right, if you treat people right, people take notice to that. And I think the community just thought that, hey, why not Coach Jones? Give him a chance.
And why not?
And the school system, I have to give credit, where it's due. They came together. Whatever happened, the process, procedures, they got together and they made a decision, and they gave me a chance.
Wow. And
here we are.
So, for people who may not know, how would you describe your coaching philosophy?
Okay. It goes back to my beginnings with Justin, with Gerald. I'm a high-strung, if you ever at a basketball game, from the time the ball is tipped, from the time the final horn sounds, I'm never sitting. I'm hyperactive, I'm engaged, always engaged. I don't care if we blowing people out and the subs are in, I'm coaching. I don't care if we're getting blowed out, and I'm still coaching. So I'm a defensive-minded guy. I believe you gotta be strong physically. I believe you gotta be conditioned, and what people don't understand, kids don't like conditioning. And it's a must, because conditioning does so much for an athlete. It makes you better physically, and it makes you tougher mentally. So that's primarily what we do. Now, I will say this, I keep the game very simple. I don't put a lot of sets, offensive sets in. Whereas the kids are out there thinking and they're stumbling and sputtering, I like to keep it simple and flow and let them play. Exactly. So those are some of the tendencies that I try to employ as a basketball coach.
Well, obviously, it's been very successful so far on the young season. And talk about this Aggie club this year.
I will, but you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. People think that you gotta change, you gotta be different. The same style of basketball that Justin Martin introduced me to, I haven't changed a single bit of it, other than acquiring things from those other coaches.
You carry a notebook?
That I do not. I do. It's a mental. It's mental. This year, we knew that these kids, this was a good group of athletes. They just needed a leader that was going to hold them accountable. And, you know, those kids.
Coach, how difficult is that in today's society?
You know what? It is a little bit more difficult because where we're at right now, in terms of me still trying to mold, in terms of me trying to put a stamp on these guys, we're a little bit behind where we should be because kids are a little bit different. But I think we're on a good pace, and if you stick to what you believe in, they will soon figure it out. They will find out Coach is not going to change. This is what he wants to do. This is how he wants to do it. And
that's how it's going to be.
It's going to be. Thank you. Thank you.
You got a big game tonight.
Yes, we do. In area play, we're 3-0 at this point. We beat Briarwood. We beat Clay Central, both games at home. And we went to Shelby County and we were able to beat them on their floor. So tonight, we have to go over that mountain to play Clay Central. Clay Central, I tell you, they're not really great basketball players, but those kids are so driven. They are so tough and physically strong that you're going to be in a dog fight. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a dog fight. So I do think that we can go over, and I think that we can come back over with the victory. It's some things that has to happen. We got to match that physicality. We've got to rebound. So if we take care of things on our end, we can win that basketball game tonight, and we can be our record in terms of record in the area play. We can be sitting at 4-0 and go to Briarwood on Tuesday, pending the weather pending. So you know, we got the next 5 days will be huge in terms of Sylacauga Aggie basketball and positioning ourselves to host the area. Thing about basketball, you can be fourth, you can be the last seed in the tournament. And if you play, bring your A game, you can advance to the regional play, sub-regional play. So it's good to be, our record is 17-2, and that is awesome. I love where we're at, but the most important games are the games ahead of us.
Coach Joel Jones, head basketball coach of the Sylacauga varsity basketball team, and outstanding season so far. Got some critical games coming up. You talked about the past with Gerald and others, and what wins basketball games today?
Of course, like I said earlier, the more things change, the more they stay the same. You and I both know that defense will always be there. Defense, if you defend at home, defense travel. You can defend on the road. And the thing about it, you may be off. You may not shoot the ball well one night. In fact, the last time we played these guys, we may have probably had our 3-point shooting percentage. I'm not sure what it was, but it was about 4 out of 20. Didn't shoot it well.
Good.
But we defended. And when you defend, you always have a chance to win.
What about free throws?
Oh, we do. We're pretty good at the free throw line.
How critical is that you are?
Very critical, very. Because most of the time we're ahead, we're leading. And this year we've been fortunate to be a little bit ahead in terms of the scoreboard, leading. We almost all have been leading the game in terms of points. We're ahead on the scoreboard. And in terms of free throw, teams are going to foul you down the stretch to try to, regain possession. So when we go to the foul line, I think I've been pleased. And when we go to that, step up to the foul line, we've been able to knock shots down.
Yeah. Not only are there some key area matchups coming up, we got the Talladega County tournament coming up too.
We do. We were fortunate, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. I think Coach Smith, on last year, he scheduled a regular season game in the middle of the tournament. We're supposed to go to Broward on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
But we also want to play in the county tournament. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the Broward game was on schedule on the same night as we were supposed to play the tournament game on Tuesday, the county tournament game, and we had Broward scheduled. So Broward cannot move this late in the season. You can't move area games. So we asked the tournament director if he would move our game to maybe Monday or Wednesday, and it took him a while. But on yesterday, he told us that he could move the game to Monday. So we'll play Monday at 4:30 at BB Comer in the county tournament. The host is Childersburg. That's where it's all supposed to go down at. But because of the weather pending, we're going to get ahead and go ahead and play some games on Monday, just in case we can't play Tuesday, Wednesday. If we play Monday, some games on Monday, it'll keep us on schedule to play the championship game of the county on Thursday, big schools, and the super championship game on Friday.
So possibly you could play 5 or 6 games next week.
This week, we could possibly play Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Thursday, Friday. And if the weather doesn't affect anything, we could play Tuesday at Broward, county tournament Wednesday, county tournament Thursday, county tournament Friday. Yeah. That's 4 games in about 5 days.
Yeah.
So I think we're built for it.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. Well, Coach, thanks so much for coming by. We could talk a long time because I love to hear your strategies and what you like to bring to the game of basketball. And we'll talk next time. We'll talk more players next time that's made an impact on the club this year. But as we go this morning, I want you to speak to the Sylacauga followers. There's a lot of them that watch this show. Speak to them about supporting this Aggie organization.
Yes. To be honest, the community of Sylacauga has really, really supported us. We had a fundraiser, whereas sponsorship fundraisers, that's where you go around to businesses and ask them if they will sponsor, be one of your sponsors. And I think we have a list in the gym of sponsors on a ballot, and it's that list is kind of, I think it's more people on that list than it's ever been.
Wow.
Now, not everyone has made contributions. So if you're out there and you're listening this morning, you have to. It takes funds to run a program, and we need money. The program still needs money, and the reason being, you have officials, you have uniforms. It's so many things that it takes to run an athletic program. And we're okay right now, but we're still in dire need of help. So if you're out there and you're listening and you want to make a contribution, it can be made to Sylacauga Boys Basketball.
Coach, I got to ask you this before I let you go.
Okay.
NIL, is it coming to high school?
Listen, personally, I don't like it in college. And I definitely don't want it in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, these kids are too young for that.
Yeah.
And the maturity, it's just not good.
We'll talk about it more later. Coach Joel Jones, head basketball coach of the Sylacauga boys Aggies basketball team. They play, as Coach Jones said, over the mountain tonight at Clay Central, and they got several games over there tonight. Appreciate Coach Jones being with us. We've got more Daybreak after this.
Thank you for having me.